Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Noma Zondo. I'm the Acting Executive Director of Corporate Relations. Thank you for joining us today for the launch of UKZN Corporate Identity Manual. I hope that you can all hear me. In the age of information overload, where we are bombarded by adverts and messages vying for our attention, we must also become masterful of what we are doing and make sure that we develop a strong, easily recognizable and recognizable brand identity. We know that effective branding can help shape a distinctive brand, build reputation, make one stand out, and also easily be remembered by all our stakeholders. So corporate relations basically is the custodian of the University of KwaZulu-Natal strategic communication marketing activities and the link to the university's stakeholders and partners. Our role is leading and developing university brand and all the systems and resources, and also interpreting and advising on questions regarding the university identity or university brand. Basically, we manage the corporate identity, and we are responsible for ensuring that they are used correctly by all stakeholders. With a strong brand identity, stakeholders or clients are much more likely to remember us. A strong brand name or corporate logo help us to keep our institution in the minds of all potential stakeholders, partners, donors, as well as potential students. So a brand system is a collection of design elements that works together to make a meaningful unit. Combined, they allow our communication to speak in the consistent voice. As you are aware that UKZN has a set of guidelines on how our logo and brand elements used and presented across all. That's why we are here today to just share the manual and also advise on the usage. The University Corporate Identity Manual incorporates basic usage guidelines to ensure that our brand is visually presented consistently and impactfully. It is vital that all staff and students understand and use these guidelines to of our corporate image and identity correctly, clearly, and also consistently. So today we're actually going to take time to go through the CR manual, brief you on the do's and don'ts, that's Neville's part, and core branding issues, and also answer all questions that you might have. So the team is here with us to make sure that we answer all the questions and also make sure that we actually clarify some of the concerns that you might have regarding our manual. Now, let me just invite our CRD graphic designs team, who we've got Neville, who will be doing the presentation. We'll also have Nomonde, Sean, and Tlaganipo, who are the graphic designers. The team, they all possess a good understanding and appreciation and respect for the corporate brand, and they are here to help you. So Neville, please take us through the CR manual, and then we can take questions after that. Thank you.
Morning, colleagues. Trust everyone is well. I am the principal graphic designer at Corporate Relations, and please bear with me, I'm not feeling too well, so I might cough now and then. Okay, before I introduce the CI manual, I think it would be an injustice not to explain three very important concepts. I will start to show my screen. The first thing is, what is brand, branding, and logo? Our corporate manual is made up of these three things, and it's very important that one understands this. So what is brand? Brand is made up of individuals. It's your reputation, it's what people think of you. All that we promote, positive or negative, will affect our brand, our reputation. Whether you're aware of it or not, we are all a part of the university brand. Branding, on the other hand, is very different. It's managing what people think of you. Branding is about what you're putting out there. What are people thinking of us through our advertising, be it print or video, our behavior, etc. The university brand represents their market identity. What is a logo? Okay, a logo is a symbol for the brand. It's a graphic symbol or stylized name used to identify a company, organization, product, or a brand. Documents without a logo is like a person without an ID document. So I will give you an example of how these three tie into a sample. So on the left-hand side here, we see a very common notice that we would find on our university notice. Believe it or not, this is actually branded, but it's actually a very poor representation of the university brand, in the sense that there is no logo, there's no tagline, there is no identity. And not forgetting that the layout is actually very weak. On the right-hand side would be a total opposite, in the sense that there's a clear indication that this is from the university. The logo is clearly defined. It's very clean and corporate, and not forgetting our tagline. Okay, so I'll go on to the next slide. So now that we've actually covered a little bit about what branding, and the logo is about, let's go straight into the CI manual. So the first thing one needs to do is identify the CI manual. Our corporate identity manual will firstly have 2021 version 18. If you come across a manual that doesn't have this, please discard it and download the latest version from UKZN in a web. I will be covering this topic very briefly: logo variations, and give you samples, tagline, fonts, logo applications for subsidiaries, colleges and centers, and co-branding. Okay, so we have two logo variations: the landscape logo and the portrait logo. The portrait logo is used at the last resort. It's something that if you ever need to use it, you have to get permission from UKZN, corporate relations. The landscape logo is our preferred logo. And I'll give you some samples of what the variations would be. The color logo is used in most instances. The white logo will only be used if the color white and the black logo can only be used if the color logo cannot be used. So if the background is very dark, then you'd go for a white logo. If the background has a lot of color, so it's very light, with, like, for example, a yellow color, then you would rather go for the black logo. Okay, move to the next slide. Okay, this shows a little bit of the clear space around the logo. I know it sounds very daunting when you see all these little percentages and X's, but it's not that difficult. All you need to do is make sure there's a decent amount of white space around the logo, and you're good to go. So the next slide, I will actually show you some don'ts. Do not squash the logo, change the colors, put a busy background behind it. Separate the logo symbol from the logo text, blur the logo, separate the logos, put a color logo on a color background, put some key lines around the text, tilt the logo, have, busy images behind the logo. None of these actually work. So this is a clear example of the clear space around a color logo. So we've got a bit of a darkish background, and we need to use the color logo. This example here is actually not correct. The reason is the logo white space is actually constricting the logo, and the text below it is too close to the logo. So if you look at the sample below, this is correct. There's enough space around the logo, and the text is away from the logo. And it's actually very easy on the eye to read. So let's go to the tagline. The first thing is, what is a tagline? The tagline is a catchphrase that communicates a message about our brand that audiences will remember and identify with. So we've actually created a few samples of the tagline. This is the portrait version, the landscape version, and this is the very generic common version that's used in most collateral. I will proceed by actually showing you some samples using these logos. Also remember, the tagline is always featured at the footer of any artwork. This is a sample where we use a generic tagline and the university logo on the top. It's nice and clean, very simple, easy on the eye. This is a sample where the background is very dark and busy, and this logo here would be most appropriate. I'll just briefly go through the fonts. We find that lots of people are not aware of the fonts and they try to be very creative. Unfortunately, with corporate branding, we need to keep the same look and feel. So Myriad Pro is actually our official font. Century Gothic is the font used for the tagline. And Arial would be used more for PowerPoints, Word documents, because Myriad Pro is actually a font that designers would have. Logo applications for subsidiaries, colleges, and centers. So we created logos that would actually tie in with the subsidiaries, colleges, and centers. It's very clean. These are some of the samples of it. So whenever you are doing a publication and it's related to, for example, College of Agriculture, Engineering, and Science, and you wanted to have a very discreet, clean, together logo, then you choose one of these logos. I will proceed by giving you samples of what not to do. So there is a sample of what is correct. College of Agriculture, Engineering, and Science. This is what we've created, and this is what one should use. What one should never do is type in your own font and stretch the divided line. This is definitely incorrect. Another example of what people do is they love this idea, and the next minute they're typing their own information instead of the actual college, using the college logo. This would be incorrect. So I'll proceed to co-branding. So co-brand is actually very simple. It's whenever you have the university logo and you have a partner affiliate logo. So it's clearly defined with a line separator. It's 30% black, and it's very easy on the eye. A sample on the side here would actually be very similar, but I will actually delve a little bit deeper into it and show you a closer view of what one should do and what one should not do. So there is a sample on the top that actually is correct. University logo, divided line, and then we got the co-brand. If there's more than one co-brand, then one would actually do it this way. You just add a divided line and you continue the co-brand. And this would work. What you should never do is use, for example, a college logo. Because what happens is the word College of Humanities suddenly becomes a logo, and this would not work. So I'll give you a sample of what would work in terms of a publication. So if you come across your publication where you have lots of co-brands, then this would be the preferred look and feel. University logo proud, top center, and the co-brands at the bottom, and obviously your tagline at the bottom. But if this is not going to work, then you would go for option 2, where you have the university logo first, and then followed by the co-branded logos and inspiring greatness. I would like to end this presentation by saying that we need to work together to manage our image, manage the way we perceive within and outside UKZN, to create a common brand narrative that inspires greatness. Thank you.
Thank you, Neville. Thank you so much. I see we do have some questions that have been posted on our Q&A. Mainzi is asking why we don't use different colors for different colleges. And then we have one, if they have a center that uses their own logo. I don't know which center is that. We need to be more specific. And they want to actually check if they can use both logos or whatever, because all the other centers that we've worked with them so that we can create a proper image for them with using a logo and the centers and the center's logo. Neville, do you wanna answer those questions quickly? Yes.
Yeah, okay, so the corporate manual does cover the college colors. For example, the College of Agriculture is the green, the College of Health Science is white, Law and Management is the orange, and Humanities is blue. In fact, the logo symbol is made up of 5 campuses. And I know it can be a little bit confusing because there's 5 campus colors and there's college colors. And yes, the CI manual does cover most issues, and if there's something that's not covered, your first protocol is contact corporate relations and we'll guide you through it. I'm not sure if I answered all the questions.
Please cover the center logo as well, because we do. I think we do have an example of the other centers like the Jazz Center and other centers that uses their own logo and the UKZN logo.
Yeah, we've covered sections that have other logos, co-brand logos. So always remember the university logo always stays on the top left. And if there's a co-brand logo, it would be on the right-hand side, or use the co-brand logo look and feel. Always remember the tagline stays at the footer. Is that covered, Norma?
Yes, I think so. But obviously, I think that center, they must actually send us the email with the name of the center and the logo so that everything is correct.
I think if it's something very specific, then yeah, we will have a special consultation with whoever has the hassle, and then we'll actually design a solution around that.
There's a question from Delia, and Delia speaks on the matter of using online email signature template. Her question is, what if an individual's personal information, name or surname, are captured with incorrect specking by HR on the system? Is it not updated? And when using the signature online email signature template, the individual's identity will display with spelling errors, because she asks, is that how it shows in the system?
I think from our side, I mean, we only just deal with the actual look and feel. The actual content, I mean, if you're talking about HR, then I think HR needs to correct that. But in terms of the look and feel, we'll make sure that any email signature is first approved by the client before it goes live. So that I don't think that'll ever happen.
And Ratibira's question is, if you wanted to use the UKZN logo on your website without any co-partners, how could you possibly do it?
Yeah, that's okay. It's a bit of a tricky one in the sense that I'm not an IT person, and normally what would happen is the IT person will actually give me a call, and then we'll actually try and work out what will work best for the website. Yeah, I hope that answers.
The next question is, this is from Indemiso, why don't we have a white color in our university logo? White represents College of Health Sciences.
Okay, so the university logo is based on the campuses. It's not based on the colleges. So the 5 colors represent the campuses. In terms of the colleges, those colors are very different, and they're not part of the campus colors. I mean, that's the best I could way to explain that. Just to reiterate, the 5 colors on the symbol is not the college colors, it's the campus colors. It represents our 5 campuses.
Okay, just to get back to Professor Knott's question.
Yeah, Norma and Neville, thank you very much for the presentation. My question is about a logo that we have created, and we've had it registered through Incubate, where it's a logo that we use to advocate for studies in data analytics or data science amongst high school girls and boys. We've got a separate one called Women in Analytics and Dudes in Data. But on that, it's just a logo, a little picture that we put on the top whenever we do stuff with schools. My question is whether we obviously do put the university logo as well, but we didn't, as part of that logo, have UKZN sign. We sort of put it next door. Is that okay? Or were we supposed to maybe in the bottom corner somewhere put the UKZN logo, because it's really part of what we do at the university, but we didn't put the UKZN logo into our logo, if you know what I mean.
Okay, so the understanding is that there's only one university logo. So when the 5 campuses merged, all the existing logos actually fell away. And the idea was that we need to keep everyone talk the same talk. And when we go to every campus, we don't see, Westville campus previous logo, for example, and medical school's previous logo. We only see the university logo. So it is, creating your own logo for a campaign is not allowed unless you go through stringent approval processes. But generally, a logo, it's not an affiliate, it's not a subsidiary, it's not part of the college logo. You cannot create your own logo for a campaign. But what one can do is that you can create a look and feel and have a symbol to represent that look and feel, but you can't have it as a co-brand where you have it next to the logo on the right-hand side of the logo. You can have it part of the design. But it is quite a complex thing. So for an example like that, I would rather spend some time, going through what you have, and as I said before, we'll design some sort of solution around that for you. I hope I answered the question.
All right, so we have another question from Amanda. I'll allow her to talk as well. Go ahead, Amanda.
Good morning. I was just wondering, when you're submitting a thesis for examination, is there a pro forma cover that can be used, which will obviously incorporate the logo and the profile of the university? And this is particularly relevant when the item, although it may be unpublished, but it will be uploaded to the website for international viewing. So is there actually a standard or something that we need to follow, please?
Okay, so that's quite a simple one as well. So the CI manual gives you a rough guideline for most possible scenarios. So if you require, for example, a cover for your thesis, or even let's just say a brochure, whatever it might be, all you need to do is contact corporate relations, and you would actually get one of the designers to actually design something for you in line with the brand. Thank you.
Next question is from Akira. Where can one get permission to use the university logo and branding? For instance, a student body was created in the College of Health Sciences. Can the student body use the UKZN logo in letters and emails to students?
When you say student body, are you talking about official staff or students?
No, I think this is student related, perhaps even clubs and societies. This is student related.
I think my understanding is that students are not allowed to use the logo. The logos are only given out to staff. So if a staff member had to download the logo, they are accountable for whoever they actually give the logo to. So, normally publications, anything corporate, it's only related to, corporate publications and brochures and anything related to, we have to monitor, our publications and who actually has access to the logos. So yeah, it's. I don't think students currently can't really use our logos in terms of that.
Okay, thanks, Neville.
I think the other thing is also, I mean, we've seen people and staff members and students using the university logo on their personal social media accounts. So that's not allowed. I mean, you shouldn't use a university logo on your social media accounts. And also there are a lot of pages out there as well using official UKZN logo, which are not official. So it's something that we are busy working on. But I mean, obviously, Facebook it's a very or social media is a very difficult environment, but we do try and make sure that we request those individuals to remove the university logos, because once you put the university logo there, it means that whatever you're saying out there, you are representing university as well. But besides that, I mean, if you have if in your social media you you've actually put there that you've worked at the university, whatever you're saying, you still, in a way representing the university. So we try to make sure that people, whatever when you actually your interactions in social media, we keep it very, very clean and ensure that it doesn't put the university in disrepute. But obviously there is a policy that has been drafted in that regard, that the university community will then be able to have that we will also have inputs in that policy in the relative structures, because it will go to the relevant structures and then people will have inputs on it. But that's just putting it out there, because we're talking about the use of the logo. And if you need to use the logo or you are partnering with somebody, with an organization or whatever, you can't just take a logo and use it. You still have to get permission to actually use that logo, because you might find that the organization that you're partnering with, maybe it doesn't share the same values at the University of KwaZulu-Natal. So we might not want to be associated with that organization. So it's very important that you do request the logo, and also give us a brief of how the logo is going to be used and how the partnership has started and so on, so that we can then approve the use of the logo with that partner, or in any other environment that you want to use it at. Thank you.
Another question is, who can we send the query to for creating a dedicated center logo?
I think we covered that. Unless it's actually, we've actually created, college logos, for example. If there's something that's specific and it's not related to, it's not featuring on the affiliate college type of logo, then you need to contact corporate relations. We'll look into it and see that it can be done, and we'll advise you accordingly. And if we need to create something, then we'll create it for you.
Thanks, Neville. We also have a very important message, Anonymous. Considering that UKZN takes brand identity seriously, knowing that students are usually unhappy and hence engage in strikes thereafter, I would like to know how the department seeks to ensure integrity still on the brand identity of the university during critical times such as strikes.
Thanks for that question, Anonymous. Yeah, that's a difficult one. I mean, first and foremost, I mean, we all in this together. I do understand that once there is a strike, and then people always think that it's a corporate relations baby alone. But no, we are all in this together. If there are issues out there, we have to work together in terms of solving those issues. But basically our strategy focuses on the institution that is caring and obviously invested in all students and staff matters. So we make sure that we use a proactive approach to respond or providing pro responses and messages to the concern, and also able to make sure that they able to make sure that the success of the university and highlights out there, so that people can actually see that the university is actually doing something to and also to look after the students, and also to provide information to the public, because once there's a strike, people are interested to know how the university is dealing with those issues, and how the university respond to those issues. Unfortunately, most of the issues that send a student, I mean, that create strikes, sometimes they are actually out of our control, because obviously, as we have seen, that a lot of issues, they start with student funding, which is something that the university has done all it can in terms of providing funding for students, but also then there is a larger discussion, which is a national discussion in terms of funding for students. But we make sure that we do respond to whatever queries that are there out there in the media, and also obviously the discussions that are happening internally with our student leadership, to make sure that those issues are taken care of. But we do worry about the reputation as well, like everybody else. Especially us, because everything comes to CRD. We do worry about the university's reputation, especially during the crisis. But the crisis approach is that, while providing pro responses, messaging to the concerned, we are also able to shift the focus on the successes of the university.
Thanks, Norma. I've got a raised hand by Jasper Cecil.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Rakshika. And good morning, Norma and Neville. Thanks for a nice presentation. My question relates to the template for using as an email signature. Now, how customizable is that template? Because I noticed that a number of people don't use that branding, or the corporate relations branding, because they want to insert their own logos or their departmental information or their own websites. So how do we get around that? Because I see a number of people make up their own things that they put at the bottom of the emails, where they possibly want to put in one or two of their departmental logos or that kind of thing. Thank you.
Thanks, Jasper, for the question. Obviously, with the email signature, we are working with ICS, and what we implemented was actually phase 1 of the email signature. We'll then implement phase 2, which then allows, because obviously we understand that people are affiliated with other organizations, and also they want to make sure that they add those logos with their signatures. But that is actually going to be implemented on the phase 2 of the project. We're still working on that with ICS. And the other part is that also we want to use the email signature as to advertise or to promote, like for instance, if the university has we always get global rankings and all that. So if we want to promote something like that, or want to promote all our annual events, we can actually add an advert below the email signature. So that is also a part of that project. So it will be implemented as soon as we actually done with that. So ICS and corporate relations are working together on that project. Thanks.
Thanks. We have a question by Nirmala. You can go ahead, Nirmala.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Norma, for organizing this. I think it's a really critical conversation for us to have. My question is, I know there's been some dissenting views around the use of quotes that accompany signatures as well. Is that something that corporate or the university will endorse, or probably want us to be uniform and disallow that? Thank you.
No, it's not something that we actually endorse or something that we want to promote, especially because we want to actually make sure that we present ourselves out there. I mean, we have a clean identity, and also obviously adding your logos, and also changing the background of your email and put all these fluffy things is not something that we promote. But I think that is something that we actually have to work with, because obviously there has to be a policy on the use of emails. It's something that we actually going to work with ICS on that, because ICS is the custodian of all our communications in terms of emails and so on. So it's something that we actually need to work on, because I mean it's there, and we see it every day. We're getting an email, and also there is a code of some sort in that email. So once, at the moment, I mean, we can't actually impose or tell people not to use it if we actually don't have a policy on the use of emails. I mean, even also, I think that is also going to be part of, like, when you're sending an email, you are CCing everybody under the sun. I mean, there should be, a policy, about that. Seriously, I mean, getting emails that have nothing to do with you, and people CCing everybody, for, if, I mean, is for something that can be addressed between the 2 or 3 people, then you see seeing everybody. So yeah, ICS is also here. It's something that we actually need to work on as well. Thanks for that question.
So I think that's really something very critical, especially the email etiquette, in terms of ceasing, like you said, all and sundry, when it's not even, they're not part of it. So I think that's really a step in the right direction, and will help us all, will help alleviate our stresses, and will get us to become ethical, I think, and think through carefully when we write emails. Thank you so much.
As Norma said, while one cannot randomly put random quotes, the email signature, we have catered for an area that would have official events that will randomly come through, like, for example, open day, or anything that might be important to a college or center, wherever it is. So I think ICS, in terms of the section here, ICS will assist, and it'll be like a revolving banner that would change, and your whatever event or whatever you might have will actually appear below the signature. Thank you.
Okay, the next question is from Lungelo Kanile. Does the UKZN footer have to be in all documents? In the case of Center or Program Caprice or HUD, they have their own footer. So what is the protocol there?
Okay, so the first thing we need to establish is that the university brand comes first. So all collateral related to the university would always have the university look and feel. Unless there's a co-brand, then we normally design a solution around that. But all university property collateral would have the university logo prominent and the tagline at the footer.
Thanks, Rakshika, and other colleagues for the presentation. I would just want to know what sanctions will be imposed on people who deviate from the policy or the CI manual. I'm asking this because I have seen a shop located on one of our campuses, actually the Westville campus, where they sell branded items, and most of their stock has incorrect logos, especially when it comes to brand embroidery. So what will happen if we deviate from the CI manual?
Well, the first thing from my side is that we have to stick to the brand. And if there's no permission, if the company or department or whoever these people are have not got permission from corporate relations, then it actually becomes probably a legal issue. I'm not sure whether Norma can elaborate on that, but it's very important that we all say the same thing. And we can't have anyone distort our brand and represent us, and they're not part of the university.
Yeah, that's correct, Neville. And we do work with when we have those issues, we do work with legal to actually take, to assist in terms of making sure that either the people they stop using the logo or they actually refrain from using anything related to the university logo if they don't have any permission. Besides that, we'll also, now that we've actually launched the CI manual, which is a guideline, we are going to be working on the brand policy, which then will entail a detail in terms of how people are going to be in terms of how we're going to take the actions that are going to be taken against people that have or have used the logo without any authorization, or they've actually misused the logo. So that will have to be in the policy, because we cannot put it on the guidelines. But we're definitely aware of all of those issues, and we work closely with legal in terms of making sure that people don't use our logo without any authorization. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Norma. My name is Opoemi Razak. I am a PhD student in Maths department. Well, I asked my question that we need to get a correct variant of our logo, because we need to take tutorials and on Teams. And to me, it's rather better to use university insignia to be a background. It makes it uniform, it makes it formal, and it makes there's something organized, unlike when I have to be showing the background of my apartment or my bookshelf and all of those things. So that's why we ask. I don't think it's, in my opinion, I don't think it's bad, because it shows, it's another way of showing how proud of the school that we are. We should be very proud of the school, and the only way, the easiest way we communicate that is through being associated with non-official, but the organized one. Just getting to know the ones I wanted to use. I have attachment affiliation with other organizations, which are privileged to use something like that. But if we have not, we can just help. You can design a background. It will just be like additional logo that we can pick on the university social media. We can use it. It's not that we are impersonating, but we are using it. It's doing this thing online from their countries, and we should be having that convey some sense of official and formalness. Thank you very much. You find other questions?
Thank you, Opemi. We do have backgrounds that we've created since we started using online platforms. We've created a number of backgrounds so that people can use that. I mean, for the same reason that you're talking about, to actually make sure that we conform and also look professional when we do presentations wherever we are. And also when we do have when there's a specific event, we also create background for that specific event, which will then appear in your background. Even if they are partners as well, we do create logos with partners for specifically to use on webinars or any other virtual platforms. So those are available to be downloaded.
Thank you, Ms. Sebrin and Ms. Zondo, for a wonderful presentation. Just very quickly on 2 points. One, essentially an observation, and that being from the library, we see many of theses and dissertations that are produced. The logo issue is really flouted. The logos are often sometimes not even evident on the title pages of the theses and dissertations, and these particular items are sitting on an open access repository, which is viewed in the public domain. And, in terms of the question, I'd just like to put it out there as to whether we are considering having a standardized page, perhaps, to be attached, or all theses and dissertations should actually have a standard title page with our, with the proper logo on it. Because you just need to actually go into this repository and you will see what I'm indicating in terms of the actual logos being incorrectly used, and I think we need some guidance on that very critically. Thank you.
I think the important thing is to note is that, I mean, theses that have distorted logos and things like that, the responsibility is really on the actual head of department or whoever the student falls under. So it's important that if people are stuck and they unclear on how to use the logo, how to design a cover page, the first protocol would be to contact corporate relations, and we'll design a solution around that. But the general thing that one should do is, if you want to use the brand, and the first thing to do is go through the CI manual. If that is a bit difficult to understand, then contact corporate relations and we'll guide you through it. Thank you.
Thanks, Neville. I think a comment by Sachin Suknanan more than a query. It says, whilst the colleges have logos, I feel the logos for the support sector divisions may be lacking. For example, his division, which is Student Services Division, and he's sure there's more. So what's your thoughts on that?
On page 41 of the CI manual, it's very clearly indicated that these are, okay, first of all, we need to establish there's only one university logo. This is related to subsidiaries, colleges, and centers. So, this is not this is actually a watered down version of the actual UKZN logo. It's just created to create a little, compact, where you have the text and the logo, and you can put it into your publication or advert. But it's not something that's encouraged. One normally would use the university logo on its own, and maybe have, for example, College of Health Sciences big and bold below it. But if there's not enough space, then this would be the route to take. So if it's not a college, it's not a center and a subsidiary, then no logos can be created for anything aside from that.
Thank you, Neville. I think you're correct. We can't have every single department and unit having logos. Those logos that Neville just spoke about, they are all the subsidiaries and colleges. Those are and centers. Those are the only units they're supposed to have their own logos because of the nature of their work. I mean, most of those centers, they actually work a lot with external, and some of them they are funded externally. That's why they have to have that kind of identity as well. But any other unit or department or division within the university must use the university logo, because also most of the interaction happens internally, and we actually don't encourage people to dilute the logo any further, because this is actually one brand. We all must work together to ensure that we protect one brand, even though they are colleges, but they still one university. We don't have 5 universities, we don't have 6 universities, only one university. So we actually gave colleges to use colleges, because obviously our model is a college model, so they actually have to have their distinct identities as well as centers. But any other department must use the university logo, except if there is a special event that is actually happening, or like how we created a distinct logo for HR for the REACH campaign, because that's something that is actually a campaign, and it's actually specific to the university, and that logo is only used anyway within the university. It doesn't go anywhere else. So I think let's make sure that we continue to promote the same identity and use the university logo correctly. Thank you.
One question that I think you can just answer for Lishle, Sosibo, and Brenda. It's the same question. Lisha is asking, are we going to do workshopping in schools, college schools? And Brenda wants to know whether a similar presentation will be done for students, especially postgrad students, using the logo in their dissertation, or if she can just go ahead and get direct access to this presentation and take it from there.
Well, from my side, then my understanding is that this would be available for viewing, after this webinar is over. But as I said, first protocol, instead of just going ahead and just putting your logo on your thesis, dissertation, whatever it might be, I think first protocol would be contact corporate relations, and we'll guide you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Neville. I think, yeah, we are planning to do road shows for the schools, but obviously not talking specifically on CR, but that can be part of it. Obviously, the presentation will also be available. We're planning to do the same presentation again during the second semester, just to cater for people that were not able to attend today's session. Rakshika, we covered all this session. I see Lihla's hand is up.
Oh, good morning, everyone. I just wanted to ask, Noma has already answered me that there is a plan for road shows, because this invitation, I think it was of short notice for schools, because they also have other plans. So if maybe going forward, we can get the invitation sooner, and then we distribute it to schools so that they are given a chance to actually attend. That will be very nice. That is just a suggestion. Thank you.
Thanks, Lishla. Sorry, one more question, if you could answer from Bernard Neville. He says, what is the process of modifying the email signatures? He would like to add useful information like office telephone number. I think he said he wants to add a special number, but I think it's mobile number perhaps.
Yeah, well, the email signatures actually cater for the mobile number and your actual landline number.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for attending our very informative session. I hope that as the year progresses, we'll all stick to the guidelines of our CI manual. It's there to help guide you in all your branding issues or branding matters. So please use it accordingly. And as Neville advised, the team is there to assist you with any queries that you may have. And they'll be available at all times to guide and provide the necessary assistance. Please feel free to send through any queries that you might still have to the corporate relations email address. Thank you so much, everyone.